going to invite you to find your seat. This is like Sunday school. Sometimes interrupting your chatter is really hard. Those moments are so holy and special and sacred, so I hate to do that, but I am going to invite you to take your seat in order that we might be able to complete the rest of our work for today. It's been a big day, a big day. So as we begin this afternoon, I'm just going to invite you to find your center. Whatever posture you need to find that center, feet firmly planted on the floor maybe, your hands open to the movement of the Spirit. Let us pray. We pray, O God, that in this moment, you will not give us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind and courage and boldness and everything we don't even know that we need. Give us clarity of purpose. Help us to be a strong witness of your gospel. And give us hearts to know of your overflowing abundance, recognizing that we share a unique kinship that is filled with joy. Amen. Hermanos y hermanas, yo me llamo Cynthia Fierro Harvey, Latina, de la Conferencia de Texas, de Houston. Es mi privilegio de estar con ustedes.
It's for me a great pleasure to be with you today, and so we can walk together in this path, new pathway.
I am Cynthia Fierro Harvey, Latina, from the Texas Annual Conference, and it is my privilege to be with you as we travel together this road that God has prepared for us this day. So my hope for our time together is that as we come to this point in the week, I know you're weary, I'm weary, we're all weary, but we're energized by the power of the Holy Spirit that fills this space from the moment that we walked in. So I pray that we will continue to honor and respect one another. I also remind you that all the work that we do is sacred, holy, and worshipful work. Our worship does not end at the end of this morning at, 9:30 or so? Our worship continues. So yes, even the work of our agenda is worshipful work. And we have lots of worshipful work to do. So if you will work with the chair and all of us here, we'll do our best to move efficiently through the agenda, but I'm going to need your help. Now, I am going to ask something of you. One way that you might be able to be helpful is if you've already spoken several times during this conference. Maybe if you have already spoken on the matter that's before us, we still want to hear you, but I'm going to ask you to do something before you push that button. I'm going to ask you to take a breath, maybe count to 10. Sometimes it takes introverts a little while longer to get to the microphone. Takes a little more courage. So give all of us space to do that. So our triad is here to help you do your best work today. So my triad is Tom Bickerton from the New York Annual Conference and Bishop Eben Niwatiwa from the Zimbabwe Annual Conference. So friends, we're going to do some great work this afternoon. We're going to keep doing this great worshipful and sacred work. So we're going to get to work right now. And I am going to return to where we were earlier this afternoon. We had a bundling motion. That is what I am calling this, a bundling motion. And we have received in time, meeting all of the requirements, 4 items to remove from that bundling motion. If you'll remember that the body adopted all the remaining calendar items that were received in the previous session, the motion was to bundle all of the items that had received 20 or fewer votes in committee. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to give you, let me just go back one sentence. 20 or fewer votes against in committee, except those with constitutional impact. A minority report, those that had already been removed from the consent calendar, or those that were requested to be brought to the floor but were not supported by the legislative committee. So we're going to soon move to that motion. However, before doing so, the chair will announce the calendar items that have been removed from this list. The list that the chair is referring to is a list that was at your seat when you returned from the lunch recess. So grab a pen. If you want to do what I did, I just crossed through. These are the 4 items that will be removed from the list. I'm going to read it slowly, and I'm going to repeat it several times to make sure that you know what remains on this bundling list. Item 454. 461, 535, and 554. 454, 461, 535, and 554. I'm going to pause there for a minute and remind you that we've already covered some of the items that are on the list. Earlier today, we dealt with item 241, 442, glasses, 451. We've covered those. One more time. I'm going to do the whole list that's been either dealt with or has been removed. 241, 442, 451, 454, 461, 535, and 554. We've already exhausted our speeches for and against. So we are now ready to vote on the bundling motion. So I'm going to ask you to have your devices ready. If you support the bundling motion, you will press 1. All of those opposed, press 2. You may vote now. Everybody who wanted to vote, have you voted? Any problems? Checkered flags? I'm gonna ask for the results now. The bundling motion passes. 606 votes yes, 91 no. And you can see the percentages on the screen. Just want to make just a little notation here, just so that we're all clear. That screen said all remaining calendar items. I think we all understand that it's the items with the exclusions that we just had. Okay? So, all right. I see a flag in the back. I'm not exactly sure. The poll is closed. The pool is closed. We're going to proceed now to the elections. We've got quite a few, so I'm going to need your help here.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Let's try it.
Amy Stewart.
Can you give me your name and where you're from?
Yes, Amy Stewart, white female clergy from North Carolina. Can you clarify the ones that were polled when we will be considering them?
Repeat the question one more time.
So we voted to remove 4 petitions from this list.
Correct.
When will they be reconsidered?
I think the agenda and calendar team are working on that right now. Okay. All right. We have quite a few of elections to take care of. So I am going to move us there, and this is where I'm going to need your help, but I'm also going to need my help from my friends behind me, including the folks that are helping us with our voting devices. So we're going to be caring for the elections this afternoon. But before we begin to vote on the nominees that you have already submitted, our nominations are closed. You have already submitted all of your nominees. So we're going to have an opportunity to practice, because this is a little bit different than just yes, no kind of voting. So I'm going to invite Simon Bryan from Lumi to help us, give us a tutorial, Simon, on how to vote for these elections.
Thank you. I'm just going to take you through how we do the elections, because it's a little bit different to the yes/no. I think you're all masters at that, so I'm sure we can handle the elections. So I'm just going to pop up my slides. So when it's time to vote with the elections, you'll actually see that the candidates will appear on the big projector screens, as well as on your keypad screen. Okay, so they will be alphabetized. They'll be alphabetized by last name. And at the top of the screen, you'll see how many candidates you have to pick. So you must pick how many it says. So on my photo there on the screen, it says I need to select 2 choices. So I must select 2 candidates before I can move on. Now there are a couple of ways we can pick our candidates with the keypad. We can either use the trackball, which is the little ball in the middle of the keypad, or we can use the numbers. Okay, and I'll take you through each of those. So with the trackball, rather like an old-fashioned BlackBerry device, we can actually use the trackball to scroll to the candidate we want. So we can scroll down or up to the candidate we want, and then we just press that trackball when we've highlighted the person we wish to nominate. So scroll up and down, and then press the trackball, and an X will appear next to that person's name, and then you can just scroll to the next person, press the trackball again, and then if there are any more, press again. And at the top, that keypad will tell you when you've selected the correct amount. So my screen now tells me I've selected 2 from 2, and at that point I can press the green button to send. I won't be able to press the green button to send until I've selected the requisite number of choices. So once I've picked the 2 or the 4 or however many it is, I press the green button to send. Okay? Moving on to the next one. And then when you've done that, when you've hit send, the green send, you'll get a confirmation back to tell you who you've selected. So scroll, select, green to send, and then you'll receive back the confirmation of who you've chosen. If that's not who you would like, then just press the red button, the red triangle, to cancel, and you can go through that again. Now, using the number keys, you could, if you can't be bothered to scroll all the way through, you can just press the number of the candidate. So they'll be on the screen. So you just simply type in the number that corresponds to the candidate you wish to choose. So if I wanted candidate 2, I would press 2, and then I would press green to select number 2. So I do 2, green to select, and then I type in the number of my next choice. So maybe it's number 14. I can type 14, select. And then again, once you've chosen the requisite number, so you can see at the top there, 2 from 2 or 4 from 4, I can press the green button to send. Okay? So with that, and again, using those, if you did use the number buttons, exactly the same as the scroll ball method, you'll get, once you've hit send, you'll get that confirmation back, and then you can, if you want to, you can press the red to cancel and go again. But hopefully you get your choices as you wish the first time. So I think we're going to have a little practice. So this time I'm going to ask you, which 2 places would you like to go swimming in? And this is going to be what we call a 2-seat election, so 2 positions. We must vote for 2. So as I mentioned, if you want to use a trackball, you can scroll down and select where you would like to swim and select 2, and then press green to send. Or you can simply press the number. So if you fancied swimming in the Baltic, not sure I do, but if you wanted to swim in the Baltic, you would press 2 and select. And then if you fancied the North Sea, you'd press 1 and 0, select, and then you'd hit send. Okay? And we can all do that now. So you've got the Arctic up there, Baltic, Caribbean. I think I'd rather be in the Charlotte Convention Centre of the Caribbean than anyway. The Dead Sea, the Great Barrier Reef, maybe the hotel pool, unless you're in the Westin, which had a photo of a pool on the website, but didn't in real life. And then, or the Indian Ocean, the Mediterranean, the South Pacific, the North Sea, or the Gulf of Mexico. So I'll just give you a few moments to step through that, and then if you're having any issues, my colleagues will join you, wave your little flags, and we can help you with that. So I'll give you all a couple of minutes, as it's the first time we've done this. So we'll take our time just to make sure everyone's comfortable with the process.
Give them a chance. I think those folks sitting over here would never choose the Arctic Ocean, because I think they think that they're in the Arctic Ocean now. It's so cold over there, right?
It's more like the South Pacific on stage. So I can see the votes rolling in, so just waiting for a few more.
Yes, sir, at microphone 4. Why do you rise?
Bishop Kalabachali, Great Plains. Just trying to follow as someone who speaks a different language. This explanation will not help those who are getting the information in several other languages. I'll request kindly that it's repeated before we move forward for the other people who are getting the translation.
Thank you. Yes.
Yep.
We will do our best to make sure that we can make sure the translators and interpreters can communicate.
Absolutely. So I'll just go through that again. So your choices will appear on the big screen. You will also see the choices on your keypad screen. At the top of your keypad screen, you will see how many choices you must make. And you can't move on until you've made the correct number of choices. So in my current example, you must pick 2 choices. There's a couple of ways you can use the devices. You can use the trackball in the middle of the keypad, or you can use the number keys. So when the vote is open, you can actually use the trackball to scroll through the list of candidates on your keypad and press that scroll ball in the middle when you're on the choice you wish to select. And then you would scroll to your next choice, press the button again in the middle, and then you would press the green button to send those 2 choices, or however many choices. You will then get a confirmation back to tell you who you have chosen. And if you wish to change your mind, you would press the red triangle and go through that process again. If you'd rather use the numbers as opposed to the trackball, then you would type in the number of the candidate, your first choice. So for example, if my candidate was listed as number 2, I would press 2. And then I would press the green button to select. And then my next choice might be 5, so I would press 5 and select. And then when I've made my choices, I will press the green button again to send those final choices. And then I'll get a confirmation back to confirm who I've chosen. If that's right, then I can just stop there. But if I want to change my mind, I can press the red cancel button and start again. Okay?
And I know this is a lot of instruction, and I just went to one of the languages that I understand. And I understand the difficulty in the translation. So Simon, we may need to do this another time slowly.
Okay.
Like a trackball doesn't translate.
Yep.
So if there's another
Okay.
word that you could use for that,
Sure.
that might be helpful.
Okay, so just to reiterate then, when the vote is open, when you're able to vote, you will see the list of candidates on the big projector screens. And they will all have a number by them. Additionally, the names will appear on the keypad screens. You can use the little ball in the middle of the keypad, and you can scroll, so you can roll up and down. And then when you're at the person you wish to vote for, press the little ball. and then roll the ball to your next choice and press it again. At the top of the keypad screen, it will tell you if you've made the correct number of choices. So, for example, if we had to pick 2 people, it would say 2/2. 2 of 2. And then you can press the green button to send those choices. Once you've sent those choices, you'll get a confirmation back to your keypad.
May I ask if you are having issues understanding, whether it's interpretation or just plain old confusion on how to vote in this matter, could you raise your flag? Okay, so it looks like you've got it.
So the final step of the process is that you should have the 2 names, and in my example here, the 2 places you'd like to go swimming on your keypad.
Do we want to try to close the poll, close the vote, and see what we've gotten? That might be a good test.
Let's do it.
Okay. We're now going to close the vote.
And there we go. So we've had over 601 ballots cast. We have most people wanting to go into the Caribbean or Caribbean Sea. North Sea, less popular, I guess. So hopefully everyone seems pretty clear with that for now.
Simon, one more thing that I think, one thing that might be helpful, I think we used the word plurality vote. Can you just explain a little more of what that means?
Absolutely. So if a vote, there are 2 kinds of votes. So we'll have plurality and we'll have majority. So when it's a plurality vote, the people that win, the candidates that win, are the people with the most votes. So on my list there, the Caribbean Sea won because it had the most votes. However, if we do a majority vote, then candidates are elected if they achieve a majority. So as you saw from that screen, we received 601 votes. So a majority would be 302. So in this particular example, we did not achieve a majority. So if it was a plurality vote, of which some of the votes will be doing, of which some of these elections are, then in that scenario, the Caribbean would have won, and the Great Barrier Reef would have been the second candidate elected. So if it's a plurality, it's just the top 2 vote getters. It's if we were doing a 2-seat election, the folks that got the top 2 folks with the most amount of votes, they would be elected. Now, if it's a majority, we have to have a majority of the ballots cast to elect. So in my example there, we wouldn't have elected anyone. We would have had to go again. And some of you may have chosen, instead of the North Sea, you may have gone with the Caribbean. So we would do the vote again, and then once we achieved over half the votes, so it's actually technically 50% plus 1 of the votes, then that's what would be needed to achieve a majority.
Okay, we're going to give this a try. Okay? I've asked Laura to sit here because she has been working on this for quite a while, and if we run into a hiccup, Maurice and I are both going to turn to you to help us through this. So it's going to take a whole village over here to do this. So we're going to give this a try. We're going to, now that we've all gone swimming in a lot of oceans, we're going to be ready to move to the real election. Okay, so we're going to start. We're going to guide you through each and every one of these elections. We're going to start with the University Senate. So I'm going to ask you to locate, find your list of the nominees in the Daily Christian Advocate. It's on pages 2118, 2118 through 2119. They're also on the screen. There is one change to the list that is printed. Stephen Katie has withdrawn from the list of other relevant positions. So you need to cross through that name. His name will not appear on the ballot. Okay? Have you located pages 2118 to 2119? Strike through Stephen Katie. Okay. So the Book of Discipline directs us that the University Senate elections will be without discussion by ballot and by plurality vote. Paragraph 1414.2. So we will elect a total of 4 persons, 2 from the list of Chief Executive Officer nominees and 2 from the list of other relevant position nominees. Now let me just tell you one thing right now, just so you know. The pool is closed because we're going to use this to vote. If you've got a problem or you've got a question that is absolutely related to what we're doing in that moment, you can raise a flag. But you won't be able to go into the pool because you're using your device to vote. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so we'll begin with the CEO nominees. You can see the 8 nominees. They're on the screen and on page 2118. In a moment, I will open the ballot, and you're going to see those same 8 names on your voting device. And you're going to select 2. Because this is a plurality vote, the top 2 vote getters on this ballot will be elected in the CEO category of the University Senate. Is that clear? The poll is closed. You're going to use your device to vote. From the 8 that are on the screen and on page 2118, and you're going to vote for 2 as soon as I open for votes. So I'm going to now open the vote. You've got your devices. The vote is now open for you to vote for 2 persons from this list in the CEO category. You may vote now. And just so you know, I'm going to leave this one open a little longer than we normally would, because I'm watching here how many of you are out there still voting. So I just want to make sure. So I'm going to leave this open just a little while longer than you're probably used to up to this point. How are we doing? Let me just ask, has everyone who wishes to vote, have you cast your vote? There's still a few more of you voting, so I'm going to wait just a tiny bit. Are we ready to close the vote? I'm going to close the vote now. If we could see the results. Okay, you have elected 2 persons. You have elected Bishop Grant Hagia with 401 votes. And Candace Lewis with 371 votes. You have elected the 2 persons to serve on the University Senate in the category of Chief Executive Officers. Okay. I usually tell you not to clap, but I think this is appropriate. You may clap. So now we're going to turn to the second category. Other positions relevant to academic or financial affairs or church relationships. also on pages 2118 and 2119. We'll follow the same process we just used. In a moment, when the ballot is open, you'll see, hold on a second, having a little technical hiccup. It's not open yet. Technology works great sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. We okay? All right. All right, so we're going to follow the same process that we used before. In a moment, I'm going to open the ballot, and you're going to see the 13 nominees on your voting device, and you're going to select, again, 2 names. This is, again, a plurality vote, so the top 2 vote getters on this ballot will be elected to this category of other relevant positions. Okay. Yes, there's a question. If you'll go to microphone number 3.
Thank you, Bishop.
Yes, sir.
I'm Alvin Makunike, South Africa Annual Conference, Delegate, African, Adult. I'm rising on a point of inquiry.
Okay, let's try.
Thank you. Is it possible, maybe for the candidates to raise so that we can see them? Because we may not be aware of most of those names there. Thank you.
Some of our candidates may not be here. They may not be present. Because they don't, in this category, they don't have to be delegates. For the University Senate, they do not have to be delegates, so they may not be present for them to stand.
Thank you, Bishop.
No, thank you for the question. I'm going to now open the ballot for your voting. Remember, you're going to vote for 2. The top 2 vote getters will be elected to this category of other positions relevant to academic or financial affairs or church relationships. You may vote now. How we doing? Has everyone who wanted to cast a vote been able to do so? Seeing no flags, I'm going to close the vote now. Now, before we go to the results, let me tell you that because there are so many names on the list, we're going to have 2 slides that'll give you the total vote count so that you can see it. So just so you know, you're not surprised. I want you to make sure you knew that. So the voting is now closed. If we could see the results. Okay. And you have elected Kim Ingram with 316 votes and Lisa Garvin with 275 votes to the University Senate, other positions relevant to academic or financial affairs or church relations. And I think there's another slide that'll take us to last person. There we go. Great, thank you. You're doing great. You've done great. Yes. We're hoping if we can get through this, maybe we can get back to some of the agenda items, but we're gonna test your will now, because we're gonna move to the Judicial Council. The list of nominees for the Judicial Council can be found in the DCA on pages 2,107 and 2,108. Please be reminded that 2 persons have withdrawn their names from nomination under the heading of laity nominated by the Council of Bishops. You need to strike through the name Danelle Reese Taha under the heading of laity that were nominated from the floor. And you need to strike out the name of Warren W. Plowden. These names will not appear on your ballot. And the biographical sketches for all the nominees are printed on pages 2,109 through 2,117. By discipline, the Judicial Council elections are held without discussion, by ballot, by majority vote. That's different than what you just did, by majority vote. That's according to paragraph 2602.2. This means that each person elected must receive over 50% of the valid ballots. I'm going to read that again. By discipline, the Judicial Council elections are held without discussion, by ballot, and by majority vote. This means that each person elected must receive over 50% of the valid ballots. So just as we did with your swimming locations and with the University Senate, you'll be voting for multiple names on one ballot. By now, when we receive the results of the ballot, we'll see the number needed for an election, which will be 50% of the valid ballots plus 1. Note that even though the number of valid ballots might be 700, each ballot will have multiple votes. And because you are voting for multiple names on one ballot. This means that mathematically, it's quite possible that more than one person can be elected by a majority vote on a single ballot. I'm going to guide you again through each ballot, going to give you plenty of time. So we're going to clear what was here before. We will. We're going to begin with the election of 4 laypersons to the Judicial Council. The first 2 laypersons elected will serve an 8-year term. And then the next 2 laypersons elected will serve a 4-year term. Now you know why I have these folks right here. The names of the 20 nominees will be on your voting device. You can scroll through the list, or you can enter the number of each person for whom you wish to vote. You'll vote for 4 names on this first ballot. If you vote for fewer than 4, your ballot will be invalid. Vote for 4 on this ballot. Clear? First ballot, you're going to vote for 4 people. I'm going to open now for you to vote. You may vote now. How we doing? I'm going to give you a little bit more time. Everybody that wanted to vote, have you voted? Your vote's complete? Looks like I don't see any objection to that, so I'm going to close the vote now. Okay, if you will give us the results. We needed 351 to elect. It looks like we have elected 2 persons. Harriet Jane Olson with 380 votes. Molly, I'm sorry for this, Maya Yira with 377 votes. You have elected 2 persons. Okay, all right, did great. We're going to do it again. We're going to let Lumi clear the pool over here. You remember, this time you're going to vote for 2 persons. 2 persons. So when you get when you see the list, the 2 that you've already elected are not going to show up on that list. And if you vote for fewer than 2, your vote is invalid. If you vote for more than 2, your vote is invalid. So you will need to vote for 2 persons. These are the layperson for the Judicial Council. So Lumi, if we would clear the pool. The 2 that you just elected have been elected for an 8-year term. These 2 that you will elect next will be for 4-year terms. Right. I'm now going to open the ballot. Okay. We're resetting our ballot. Thanks for your patience. Ready? Okay, I'm going to open the ballot. You're going to be voting for 2 persons. These are 2 laypersons, 4-year terms. Only vote for 2. You may vote now. Ignore the slide that says 4. You're only voting for 2. How are we doing? I don't know if how you're doing is on one of those electronic bingo cards, but you might get a blackout after we do all this voting. How are we doing? Are we ready? Everybody who's wanted to vote, voted? And we're going to close the vote now. If we could see the results now. We have no election. We needed about 350 to elect. So we're going to do it again. If we could show the next, do we have another slide, a second slide? Okay, great. That way you see everything. Okay, go back to the first slide so they get a good visual. Okay, all right, we're going to do it again. Give us a minute to clear the ballot. Again, you're voting for 2 laypersons. When we get ready, we're not ready yet. You're going to vote for 2 laypersons. These 2 will have 4-year terms. I'll wait till I get a high sign back here. All right, we are ready. The ballot is now open. You're voting for 2. I see you standing in the back. Are you having issues? Or are you just stretching your legs? Okay, that's good. All right. Has everyone voted that wished to vote? I see a flag over here to my left. Somebody see that one over there? By gate 7? We're addressing a voting matter. I think that's Amanda Davis. You'll just let me know. You'll lower that flag when we're ready. I can't believe I can see that far. I'm going to close the ballot now. If we could see the results. Looks like we have one election. Bill Waddell, 413 votes, has been elected for a 4-year term to the Judicial Council. We are going to see the next slide, just so you can see the total vote count. Okay, great. You've got the hang of this. We're going to do this again. This time you're going to vote for one person. If you vote for more than one, it'll be invalid. We're going to vote for one person. We need to give them a chance to fix the slide. I think we are ready now to vote. You're going to vote for one person, one of these 17, for the remaining position for a layperson on the Judicial Council for your term. You may vote now. Has everyone voted that wanted to vote? Okay, I'm going to wait 1 second over here on my right. We good? Okay. I'm going to close the ballot now. And if we could see the results. We needed 362 to elect. There is no election. You see the names up on the screen. Is there a second screen? Okay, we're going to do it again. Going to clear the ballot. There's a yellow card on the right. Does somebody check that out for us? Okay, if you, microphone 2, yes, sir?
Oui. Président Gomer Chamoussa,
Gomer Chumasa, South Congo delegate. If we continue on this path, I want to know if I can intervene so that I can suggest a way to get out of this, an exit ramp.
We have a process now, but I'm willing to hear what you have to offer.
je propose à ce que
I
on prenne les
propose
trois premiers noms qui venaient d'être
that we take the first 3 names
cités pour qu'on passe au vote.
so that we can move on and close this section.
That is a great idea, but we can't do that. We are bound to take the top, by parliamentary procedure, we have got to follow the procedures that we have outlined thus far in having a majority vote. So we're going to go to the next ballot. I've been told is ready. Going to vote for 1. Ballot is now open. Anybody having any issues? There is a person right here in the front section standing up with a checkered flag. Can you raise your flag? Okay, I think we've got it. Thanks. I think we're ready to close this ballot. I'm going to close the ballot now. We could see the results. Needed 355 to elect. We have no election. So we're going to try again. So we're going to get our ballot ready. Yes, sir. Microphone number 4.
Merci beaucoup pour la parole.
Thank you for letting me speak.
Germain Moupassa,
Germain Mompassa,
Congo Est.
East Congo.
Bishop,
Évêque,
je voulais vous suggérer,
Bishop, I wanted to suggest,
bien sûr, si ça ne va pas attencher notre règlement,
if it won't be an infraction of the rules,
ils veulent désister.
that you would call for voluntary withdrawals from the list of candidates so that we could move forward.
S'il y a ceux-là qui veulent désister, bien sûr.
Of course, if there are people willing to
Thank you.
withdraw their
I
names.
cannot do that. According to the rules, I cannot do that. Believe our ballot is ready, although I see a checkered flag over here on the left. If somebody could address that. I've not opened the ballot yet to make sure that we're ready. If you'll go to the microphone, if you'll go to microphone number 4.
Merci.
Thank you.
Jacques Mengoudi.
Jacques Mengoudi, Central Congo.
Est-ce que, Bishop, est-ce que vous pouvez
Bishop, can you
influencer les gens pour qu'ils changent?
influence people so that they change
Les gens qui votent, parce que si nous
the people who are voting? Because if we continue for those that we want, we're not going to go forward. We're not going to move forward.
Thank you, sir. I cannot. We're voting for 1. The ballot is now open. There is a flag somewhere on. The ballot is now open. So, and we're voting. Microphone number 2. We're in the middle of voting. If you having an issue with your voting device? If not, could we wait until we complete this vote? And then I'll recognize you.
Oh, sorry. I'm just too cold.
Has everyone voted that wished to vote? I'm going to close the ballot now. If we could see the results. We have an election. Andrew Vorbich, 404 votes. Thank you again for your patience. Okay. Ma'am, did you have something you wanted to come? I want to come back to you.
Rita L. Smith, Northern Illinois, laity, African American women. There's no need to say what I was going to ask. So
Well,
thank you very much.
Thank you. Good to meet you.
You too.
Okay, it's going to get a little harder again. Because we also have to elect 6 alternates. Yes, 6 to the Judicial Council from our current list of nominees, excluding all the people we've already elected. They will not appear on your ballot. Same kind of voting process. You're going to vote for 6. Majority vote. I'm going to give you a second to go back and look at your list. You cannot vote. If you vote for more than 6 or less than 6, your ballot is invalid. The ballot is now open for you to vote for 6 lay alternates to the Judicial Council. You may vote now. Has everyone who wished to vote cast their vote? I'm going to trust that those of you that are standing are just stretching your legs. John Stevens, hey. Okay. I wasn't calling you out. I'm going to close the ballot now. if we have the results. Look at you go. You needed 348, and I think you got them all. Aaron Hawkins, 509. Jessica Vittorio, 500. Ken Fulton, 428. Thomas Lee, 412. Tom Starnes, 404. Laurie Day, 377. Is that all 6? All right, look at you go. Great work. Give yourself a hand. Yes. If you will put the screen back up, we want to just make sure we catch all of that. Back to the other one. Okay. Awesome. All right, we're going to keep moving. Great. So now we're going to move to the clergy portion of the Judicial Council. The list of nominees are on page 2107 and 2108. And you will be electing 5 clergy persons to serve on the Judicial Council. The first 3 clergy persons elected will serve 8-year terms, and the next 2 clergy persons elected will serve 4-year terms. Got that? You'll be electing 5 clergy persons. The first 3 will be serving 8-year terms, and the next 2 will serve 4-year terms. The names of the 19 nominees will be on your voting device. They'll also be on the screen, and you can scroll through the list, enter the number of each person that you wish to vote for. You will vote for 5. If you vote for fewer than 5 or more than 5, your ballot will be invalid. We are ready to vote. Let's see if you can do this again. You will vote for 5 clergy persons from the list that is on the screen or on your device. You may vote now. Has everyone voted that wanted to vote? Any issues, raise your checkered flag, or if you still need more time, raise your checkered flag. There's a checkered flag back left. There's two of them. Do you all see the person in the white jacket? That's Amanda. If you could assist those two persons, that'd be great.
There has never been a great
We got it? All right, everybody that's wanted to vote has voted. I'm going to close the ballot now. If we could get the results, please. Yay! We have elected 4 persons. Angela Brown, 474 votes. Susan Henry Crow, 471. Jonathan Ulande, 423. And Oyvind Hilsen, and that's 402. Right. Great job. Great job. Here's the other slide. Yay. Okay. Okay, we need to elect one more person. Bishop. Yes, where are you?
Hi, Bishop. This is
Hey.
Katie Johnson.
Hey, Katie.
Clergy, white female, adult from Iowa. My question is, are some of these 4-year terms and some of them 8-year terms? We did not clarify
Yes.
that, I don't believe.
The first 3 persons are 8-year terms, and the next 2 will be 4-year terms. So the first 3 on that list were 8-year terms. The 4th one was a 2-year term, or 4-year term, sorry. If we could see the list one more time, can we put that up? That one, thanks. So the first 3 on this list are 8-year terms. The 4th one was a 4-year term, and you're about to vote on one more person. Okay? Ready? Ready? Yes, looks like we're ready. You will vote for one person This person will be a 4-year term clergy person. You may vote now. Has everyone voted that wish to vote? Any issues? Raise your checkered flag. Seeing none, I'm going to close the ballot now, and if you could give us the results. Needed 358 to elect. We did not have an election. I'm going to try one more time. There they are. Okay. We'll wait till I get the clear sign. Okay, the ballot is ready. Are you ready to vote for one person? You may vote now. There's a flag over here waving feverishly. I don't see any other checkered flags. So I'm going to close the vote now. And if we could have the results. You needed 362 to elect. You have elected Louis Vautrin with 392 votes. All right. Got all of those up there now. Go back to the first screen. Thank you. Just as we did with the laity, you're going to do again with the clergy. We're going to elect 6 clergy alternates to the Judicial Council from this current list of nominees, excluding those persons that have already been elected. They will not appear on your ballot or on the screen. Process is the same. You will vote for 6. Majority vote. I'm going to wait till we have our ballot ready. It is ready. Oh, wait a second. Amy Lippolt, microphone number 4.
Or with thanks to all those who have supported me, I'd like to withdraw my name.
Thank you. I'm going to wait just a second then to open the ballot so that we can withdraw Amy Lippolt's name. It's getting late. Yes, microphone number 3.
Tim Riss, glad for the honor of having been nominated and voted by some folk, and I'd like to withdraw.
Thank you for your willingness to say yes. So we have another person to remove from our list. So our ballot is ready. You will be voting for 6 clergy alternates to the Judicial Council. You may vote now. having any issues? If so, raise your checkered flag. I am seeing none. Give you a couple more minutes or a couple more seconds. I am going to close the ballot now. You're voting for 6. If we could see the results. You needed 342 to elect. It looks like you've elected a few people. All 6. Tim Brewster, 511 votes. Taylor Walters Dinier, 510 votes. Paul Bettis, 504 votes. Beverly Wilkes Knoll, 476 votes. Mark Graffenried, 467 votes. And Katie Krosky Jones, 391 votes. You elected all 5 of them, or 6 of them, sorry. Lost count. Good job. Okay, let's see, where are we? I think that concludes the Judicial Council voting. We're going to, looking at my watch, trying to make some adjustments so you can take a couple more votes before we go into our final worship, closing worship. And nobody ever complains about leaving church early. So we're going to try to get you out of here a little earlier than we did yesterday. So just give us a couple minutes here while we confer. Okay, I'm going to go to, if you'll just hold your seat, you'll want to for this. The next election I would like to take on is the election of the Secretary Designate of the General Conference, according to paragraph 504 of the Book of Discipline, that states the following for the election of Secretary Designate. The election, if there be 2 or more nominees, shall be by ballot. Hold that thought. Our parliamentary authority, Robert's Rules, states, if only one person is nominated and the bylaws do not require that a ballot vote be taken, the chair simply declares that the nominee is elected, thus affecting the election by unanimous consent or acclamation. In this instance, our Book of Discipline is the governing document that does not require a ballot vote since there's only one nominee. Therefore, the chair declares that Reverend Dr. Elise Fulbright be elected as Secretary Designate of the General Conference. We're now going to go to a couple of areas where your vote is really yes, no, up, down. Okay, so we think that we can, hold on. I've been asked if we could have Elise Fulbright come forward. Dr. Fulbright, could you come forward so we can greet you and celebrate you? I'm not get to John Street. Friends, if you've not met Dr. Elise Fulbright, I introduce you today. Thank you for saying yes. Okay. All right. We are going to go to the election of the John Street United Methodist Church Board of Trustees. It's printed on page 2073 of your DCA. This is a yes or no vote to approve all the names as they are printed. Do we have a slide for that ready? Thank you. So this list is before you. I'm going to let you take a minute. This is just a yes or no. You're not voting for individuals. You're voting for the whole slate. So I'm going to open the ballot now for the election of the John Street United Methodist Church Board of Trustees. You may vote now. Anyone need any help with your voting device? Raise your checkered flag. Has everyone voted that wished to vote? It looks as if we're there. I'm going to close the ballot now. If we could see the results. You see the votes before you. Yes, 651 votes. No, 44. You have approved the Board of Trustees for John Street United Methodist Church. Great work. Yes. So we are at the 6:10 mark, and I would like to first thank you, Laura Jaquith Bartlett, who has helped us manage and navigate this very complicated process of election. Thank you so much. I'd next like to recognize the Secretary of the General Conference, Gary Graves. Do we have any announcements?
Yes, it's good to have a good team, so thank you, Laura. I have been asked to acknowledge that this is the beginning of Asian American Pacific Islander Month, so congratulations, and we will celebrate together. If you have lost any of the following items, please stop by room 103. You will need to describe the item lost using more than just the words I'm going to use. Hat. Backpack. Jacket. Don't rush the stage if you want a jacket right now. Jewelry. This could get interesting. Drinking cups. USB drives. Eyeglasses. I don't understand that one because I can't see without mine. Books and earbuds. For those of you who are looking forward at some point in the future to leaving Charlotte, we do have an announcement The bus schedule for General Conference delegates going from official General Conference hotels to the Charlotte Douglas International Airport on Saturday, May 4th, will be printed in Friday's daily edition of the DCA. There is a citywide music festival occurring at the same time, so plans are being made accordingly in case there are road closures. It's always fun around here. Please remember to take your voting card with your name badge, but leave your voting device on the table and take your interpretation device with you. Those are the announcements, Bishop.
Thank you, Gary. At least we're not waiting for a monster truck rally.
I make no promises what's behind the curtain.
Well, thank you, friends. Thank you for allowing me the privilege to serve you this afternoon, and thank you for your grace. We went through a lot today. I'm thankful for my dearest colleagues behind me that I am blessed enough to also call friends. Bishop Niwatiwa and Bishop Bickerton, thank you for being always behind me and a lot of times in front of me, clearing the way, so thank you. I just want to say, I don't think I need to remind you of this, but y'all, we are making history. We are making history. And I believe this is that new thing that the prophet Isaiah talks about in Isaiah 43. I'm doing a new thing. I pray that you perceive it, that you recognize it, that you receive it as a gift, because God is doing a new thing, certainly in this General Conference, this United Methodist Church, and certainly in each of us. I do have to tell you that as I came up today, I had a little PTSD moment, because the last time I sat in this chair, we were making history, but not this kind of history. So thank you, and I thank God for each of you and your willingness to say yes. We have 2 more days left, 2 more days. I pray that we'll keep making history and keep doing this new thing, Y'all, this good thing looks really good on you. This good thing that God is doing in each and every one of us is monumental, and it is certainly a gift from God. So my prayers are with you for the next 2 days. Have a blessed evening, but before you go, we have worship. We have a little closing time of devotion. At the end of our devotion and closing worship, I will declare that this 8th plenary session is adjourned, and we will see you tomorrow morning.